dreams are those which don't let you sleep.
Sam has a spirit in him that will not let him give up.
There you go, by half. So the doctors told that I would never ever walk in my life, and I will never live past my infanthood. When I was born, I was not shown to my mother for 2 weeks. Everybody thought I was a bad luck to the family, similar bad luck or a curse from the God to the family, or a bad karma haunting my parents and because of their past life. All my life people been telling me that I cannot do this, or you share some of your dream and they just laugh at you and they try to ignore you and reject you, and nothing is easy in life. So it's all relative.
I've seen him skydive, seen the pictures on Facebook where he jumps out of a plane, and the different things that he does. He's not letting anything hold him back, and he's just an amazing young man. I love him dearly. And he came to me and said he's going to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro, and I said, wow.
This is a route that we'll be taking, the Omway route, and it is the most steepest and the toughest route and the quickest route to get to the top. This is a small dream of mine which I got 2 years ago, and when it first came to my mind, I try to ignore it. Oh, me, who, me? No way, I can't, no. But it kept coming back. And I'm like, yeah, probably I should give it a shot.
Why did you come down? We're working just on overall strength, just increasing his strength so that he can have that endurance on the mountain. He's been doing a lot of things outside of here, hiking, swimming, but mostly in the gym, just working on strength and working on some mobility stuff as well. So if he runs into kind of tight muscles or soreness while he's doing this, we've equipped him with the right tools and knowledge that he can kind of work that out and get feeling good for the rest of the climb.
So my condition here is my shin bone is connected directly to my hips. I do not have this thigh limb and the knee joints. So when I do any bending or any movements, is directly from the lower waist, the hip bones. So when I walk on the snow or any walking, I swing my legs because I can't bend my legs. Your body says quit, but your spirit says try one last time. Kilimanjaro, a mountain like that is probably a representation of mountains in our personal lives, and I think I will be really excited, and I'll feel satisfied. All the pain, everything that you've gone through in your life, I'll feel it's worth it.
And he will be able to share the testimony that though he was born in this condition, the whole turning point happened when he met with Jesus. It is Jesus who changed the entire change in his life, and he is today what he is just because he met with Christ, and he is a very strong witness of Jesus. Bharat, born in Bangalore and brought up in a Hindu family. Later he met with Christ and received Jesus as his personal Savior and Lord. Later Lord opened the way for him to come to Canada, and he did his Masters in the Mechanical Engineering in Calgary University, and right now he is working as a mechanical engineer. I know Shahana also was born and brought up in the Hindu family, and later received Jesus as a Savior and Lord. It is a miracle as a family they are able to serve God, and they are in our midst, and they are blessed with a daughter known Rania. Yes, hallelujah. I was checking the meaning of his name this morning. Actually, Bharat is the first name, and he has one more name, that is Samrat.
That's my last name.
Samrat, okay, that is the name. Do you know what is the meaning of the Samrat? That's an Indian name. Samrat means emperor. So though he is a little small man, he is an emperor in his own world. So you can see a strong king in his heart. And today is our privilege to have the time to listen to him. May I welcome in the name of Jesus. Now let us clap and welcome them. And this is a time for us to listen from him. God bless you.
Praise the Lord. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's almost afternoon. So. No, it's this. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me here to share my story with Jesus, what Jesus did in my life. I see some familiar faces here. I've met some people before. It's good to see you all again. Today I'm going to share with you my story. A story, it's so personal to me because it's my life story. I'm not here to inspire you or motivate you or give you a 10 steps for success. I'm here to tell you who Jesus is and what he has done in my life. I'm not here because I have a greater testimony than all of you here. I'm here to just tell you how Jesus saved my life and what miracles he did. If you can please drop the slides. Great. So before going into the details, I want to set up a background. I come from a very poor family in India. My father comes from a very poor family as well. My grandfather died when my father was in 4th grade. So when the three things in India that you're familiar with, the three things in India that's always shunned upon or looked down. The first thing is a woman who lost her husband, a widow, a woman who cannot bear children, a barren woman, or a boy or a girl who's born physically or mentally handicapped. These are the three main things that people always look down on in India. And when my grandfather died, my grandmother became a widow and obviously did not get much help. My father had to walk miles to go to school, come back and work with my grandmother to support the family. Soon he went on to pass his high school and got his diploma and started working. When everything was going fine, he started working and life was turning around to be a little better, and then he married the world's most beautiful woman, my mother. And after he got married, a year later, they were expecting a baby boy or baby. They didn't know whether it's a boy or a girl at that time. They were expecting their first baby. Now, most of you are parents, and some of you are grandparents. When you hear that there's a baby coming in your family, it's so much fun, right? It's so much joy. There's so much celebration. There's people coming, and there's the dreams built in the house. There's relationship is healed, and there's so much of joy and celebration. There are tears of happiness. But when I was born, nothing like that happened. I gave the shock of their life. There was tears of sadness. You can keep going with the scriptures. And why is that? Before I continue, I would like to share with you from Psalm 139, verse 13 to verse 16. It says, "For you made my parts inside me. You put me together inside my mother. I will give thanks to you, for the greatness of the way I was made brings fear. Your works are great, and my soul knows it very well. My bones were not hidden from you when I was made in secret and put together with care in the deep part of the earth. Your eyes saw me before I was put together, and all the days of my life were written in your book before any of them came to be. I was born in a Hindu family, a very strong traditional followers of Hinduism. My parents would worship every god. If you're not aware, there are 330 million gods in Hindu faith alone in India. 330 million gods. So when I was born, the celebration stopped even before it started. Many of my family members wanted to abandon the baby. I was not shown to my mother for 2 weeks, fearing that something would happen to her. And there was emergency meetings in the family, and they wanted to abandon this baby. Why? Because they thought I was the curse to the family. Because they thought I'm a symbol of bad luck. Because that's what Hinduism gods and 330 million gods tell you, that you're a curse to the family. If something bad happens in your family, it's because of your past sin, or because of something that you have done which God is punishing you. And I was born with no tiling and no knee joints. My shin bones are connected to my waist. I cannot bend my legs. When I was born, when I was a baby, my leg was the size of my finger. So I had a good upper body, but the legs was the size of my finger. So that's why I was not shown to my mother for 2 weeks. And the doctor said I will never ever walk in my life. I will never live past my infanthood. I will die very soon. And they also thought I would be mentally inactive. But long story cut short, my parents fortunately agreed to accept me, and they thought it is a bad karma. They thought it is because of their bad past lives catching up to them. So they thought, okay, it's my karma, and let's receive it. But as I was growing up, I was like any other normal baby, responding to colors and sound. Can you please change the slide, please? That's me when I was born. That's my mother. You can go one more slide, please. As I was growing up, as I said, I was responding to colors and sounds like any other normal baby. I was growing up. I started to crawl, and my parents told me that the happiest day in their life was when they saw me stand on my own legs. During all this time, my mother was a strong believer in Hinduism, and she kept praying for every god she could find. And she thought because of her worship and her prayer, I'm doing well. I'm standing on my own legs. She thought it was her God. We were all still Hindu then. As I was growing up, became teenager, I wanted to, I was like any normal baby, I was playing around, moving around, and I used to see people are looking at me. I'm grabbing more attention than anybody else. Why are they looking at me? Why are they laughing? All these questions as you grow up. And I come back home and I ask these questions to my parents, and their answers never satisfied. Their answers never satisfied me. They did not have any answers. While I was growing up more, when I became a teenager, I had a lot of challenges. I used to see my friends who were taller, stronger, looked healthier than me. All I wanted is to be like them, to be tall like them, to be 6 foot like them, to be handsome like them, to wear clothes like them, to have a bike ride how they do it, and all the things that they do, I wanted to do, but I could not. I started to hate myself. I started to hate my parents. I started to hate God. I said, why did you make me like this? What sin did I commit? What was my mistake? And I hated my parents. That why did you let me live? I can't. Look at every time I go out, people are looking at me, making fun of me. Life is so difficult. Why did you let me live? You could have just abandoned me or killed me when you knew that I was like this. I started hating God. I said, God, everybody worships you. You're powerful. Why did you make me like this? Why me all those questions, and I started hating myself so much that I wanted to kill myself. I had suicidal thoughts. I thought the best way to solve the problem is to get rid of the problem. And I thought I was the problem. I thought if I die, everything will be okay. Everything will be fine. I will have no more pain. My parents may cry for a week or two or a month or two, and then they'll be okay. I had a younger sister who's 4 years younger to me, and she's like anybody else. I said, if I die, there's no loss. Everybody in the family will be happy. But the love of my mother and the support from my family did not let me do what I wanted to do. My mother always gave me strength. She never told me that I cannot do things. She never told me that, you're not like others, but you're better than others. She said, go and do it. Go. You want to try something? Go, do it. She never stopped me. My father never stopped me. Life wasn't easy. But the biggest blow hit me. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was my mother's dream that I wanted to be an engineer and go and see the world. And when my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, she was in the 4th stage, and that was the biggest blow in my life. You can go back, slide back, please. Okay. When my mother was in the hospital, that's when I got into my engineering school in Bangalore. Long story cut short, 2003, I lost my mother for cancer, and everyone blamed me for that because they thought it was because of me that she died. Because I was the curse to the family, right? I was the symbol of bad luck. So they blamed me to kill my mother. They said, because ever since you were born, there's bad things happening in the family. And that's why your mom